Well, hello.
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 Woo!
What
Hi.
Dave Brink? Uh,
Yes.
we got Jay Wright in the house. Past Master Dan. What's up, Dan?
Hello, past Master Dan.
Skip Edwards driving home or driving somewhere.
Yeah.
Uh, and General Piggy. What is up, General Piggy?
Hello.
What are we doing, Amanda? You should be excited.
Uh, yeah. Well, it's a closeout, but it's a little early. We closeout's officially 7 hours away,
7.
and
No,
yeah.
it's like 9 hours away.
Oh, sorry, I'm doing my math wrong.
You're
Don't
doing
do
Shane
math hard
Davis
for me.
math. You need to calm down.
Yeah.
I don't know what I was thinking. 4, 10, and then 3 hours after that. Yeah, I was missing
Hmm.
10 to 12.
It's really strange, by the way, that these campaigns end exactly at the same time. So not at the same time that you launch it, only 60 days later.
Mm-hmm.
That's really strange. But
It is. Maromi's in the house. What is up? Mr. Victorious yesterday from the auction won 3 pieces, but you missed it, Amanda. After we stopped the stream last night.
Yeah. Oh, you stop. Okay, after
Yeah.
you're done streaming. Okay.
Well, we didn't go the entire time Ethan did. We had to stop it.
Did
But
he go like super late? Cause I
yeah,
was.
yeah. Are you gonna let me finish my damn story, woman?
Sorry. Yeah. Go ahead.
Jesus. All right. After we stopped streaming, Ethan kept going, and we just stopped, right?
Yep.
And Moromi had bid on, and I think won everything Irene just put out, right?
I only caught 2 things, so we got more.
Yeah. So
Okay.
she had something else that came on, and it was what the kids call a waifu, and I learned what a waifu was yesterday. So I'm very excited. But she put like a waifu, she drew a waifu.
Say what a waifu was.
Yeah, I don't even want to go into it, but
Okay,
she drew
continue.
one. She drew one. And
Right.
then I thought
She had a
Moromi and
couple on the
Gary,
Red
yeah,
Valkyrie stream.
Moromi and Gary G
Mhm.
were bidding war over it, and then Snarkticon came in and blew their asses out and won it. So it was like a fight of the simps.
I saw SnarkCon post that picture and said he got it. I did not know the backstory behind it, so that's
Now
pretty
you
funny.
know. Now
Yeah,
you
because
know.
it's a little waifu with a cake or something, right? I'm pretty sure that's what
Right.
she was holding.
We got Prater7 in the chat. What is up? How are you doing, Dave?
me,
Yeah. Well, I mean, you're why
I'm
we're here, right?
yeah, of course, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm great. Yeah, the I'm tired, but I'm really happy. The campaign is going great. We went over the amount of backers that we had for the last campaign.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and
How
that
many
was
backers was that?
the last campaign was 221 backers, and we're now at I think 232 for this one. So
Mm-hmm.
that's really exciting. That was my goal. I wanted to try to reach at least what we had last time.
Mm.
Right.
So,
You
yeah.
definitely want to grow your readers. That's always a good
Yes.
thing.
Yes.
We got Admiral Wackass in the chat. What is up? Eric Weathers is popping in. We're glad to see you, Eric. Eric, if you want to
Hello.
join us, just let me know. You can
He's
always.
busy fulfilling.
He might be. That's why I'm not assuming.
He's listening.
Johnny Cage is in the house. What is up, Johnny? So, Dave, you are in Holland,
Yes,
Netherlands,
sir.
whatever
Yeah.
we want to
Yeah,
call
we
it.
actually call it the Netherlands. Some people call it Holland, but Holland is kind of this province within the Netherlands. You know.
No,
So
I'm going to call it Holland because I'm one of those
okay.
Americans.
Oh,
That
okay.
guy.
That's cool. That's totally fine.
So, so I got a story. The first naked woman I ever saw was in Amsterdam, Dave.
Of course.
So I was 10 years old, and I went on an exchange trip where I stayed with a family in Holland, and another kid came to stay with my family, and it was a baseball exchange trip. So I went and played in a baseball league in Holland, and he came and played in an American baseball league. So I went over there, and then the first night I got there, these kids they were like speaking in Dutch, and of course I didn't understand. They were laughing and snickering, and I had no idea what they were doing, and I was 10. So like, oh yeah, we're gonna go to there. They have those. Well, you live there, but they have all those the sweet shops that have all the gummies everywhere, all across the wall or whatever.
Yeah. Yeah.
And they're like, we're gonna go take you get some candy. I'm like, oh sweet. So we're walking down the street in Amsterdam, and I have no idea. where we're at, what we're doing, and I look to the right as we're walking down the street, and we had been walking like 15 minutes, and there is a naked woman behind glass, and then I look, and there's a whole like it's a 4-story building, and there's naked women everywhere. I was
Yes.
10 years old. I jumped back in the street, like probably 5 feet. I jumped 5 feet back. I what? And they just start laughing at me. So there's my Amsterdam story.
Well, yeah. Yeah, that's Amsterdam is pretty famous for those kind of things, for those kind of experiences for young people getting there. Yeah, yeah.
10 years old.
Yes.
Yeah, she was like full glory.
All right. I've,
Yeah,
I I don't think I've ever seen that before. Usually they're wearing something, you know. But totally new.
maybe,
No, that's
maybe, maybe she was hard. I don't know, but there you go.
yeah,
No
yeah.
cherry tomato stories, please. I don't even know what that's
I
referring to
don't get
again.
the reference either.
Splash Gut says only a bloody Dutchman. I don't know what that refers to. Wooden shoes suck, but exposed boobs rule. That's a thing too, Dave. The wooden shoes and the windmills and the
Yeah,
tulips
yeah.
and the cheese and
Yes. Yeah,
yeah. So
yeah.
people don't know. I would say Holland is like the Wisconsin of Europe.
Right. Okay.
But he probably doesn't understand the Wisconsin reference because I don't know that I understand the Wisconsin
Cheese,
reference.
cheese,
Oh, cheese. Right. So
cheese.
cheese
Just
is
for cheese?
Yeah,
okay.
no. Like we went to Holland. The whole thing was we need to go to windmills and
Mm.
we need to buy a bunch of cheese.
Okay.
So you
Yeah,
thought where are the windmills? You know, it's
Don
there.
Quixote.
Yeah, yeah. When you go to Amsterdam, you don't really see them.
No, you had to go outside.
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
I was just a kid,
Right.
like.
Yeah.
But there you go. I did get my candy from the gummy store though, so that was
Oh,
good.
yay.
Uh, God help those poor ladies; they can't afford clothes. No, Johnny, I'm not going to get into it. String cheese was no. They got fancy cheese where Dave lives. Like it's fancy. Wisconsin
Fancy.
fancy cheese. Yeah,
Oh,
string.
fancy cheeses. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Well, that's what I don't understand. People talk about like France with wine and cheese, but like the Netherlands is where you get cheese at in
Yeah.
Europe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
France is more like the brie. You know,
Hmm.
the creamy cheese. That's more French.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Holland is famous for clogs. Yeah, the wooden shoes. Yeah, yeah, yeah. All
Yeah.
right. So we're at perfect 10 issue 3. I've not heard a bad word from anybody who's got this book, Dave. Not anybody. No
Yeah.
negative, not a negative word. And actually, most people are very positive. And when they read it, they're very vocal, like Amanda and Jim, who's not here yet in the chat. He'll be here, I'm sure. He's one of your biggest fans. But people love this book, Dave. How has the reception been on your end as a creator?
Yeah, yeah, pretty much. For people that read comics, they pretty much, yeah, they like it. But people close to me, so my family, they have no idea what's going on. They read this, they don't get it, you know. But comic book fans, they seem to love it, and it's never, to me, it's not clear beforehand how people will receive it. I think it's the best that I can do, you know,
Hmm.
and then people get it, and then apparently they love it so much, and that's wonderful, because you never know. It has to have that little X factor that you can't um, predict.
Hmm.
I think so. I was lucky that I got something that people respond well to, I think.
I know when I backed issue 2 the last campaign, um, I hadn't heard so many people talking about it yet. Do you know how many people you got on with the first campaign? How many backers you had?
I can look it up.
It's not important, but
No.
I'm just saying I didn't really hear much from it, but I'm like, it looked good. I thought it looked interesting. I like that the primary person is a female. It sounded, the colors were great, like the art was good. And so when I bought in, I just bought in with a digital because I wasn't really familiar with you. I wasn't super familiar with number one, wasn't super familiar with anything. And so I figured the biggest, or not the biggest, but the least amount of risk for me as a backer would be the digital.
Yeah.
And I was like super impressed because I think you closed the campaign out on May 1st of last year. And
All
I
right.
think I had the digital copy in my hand on the 3rd or the 5th of May. So
Yeah.
it was like just days after the campaign closed, I got fulfilled. And it was everything that I had was looking for, you know what I mean? It wasn't like I was waiting a book. Now I know the people that I think actually had the hard copy books might have had to wait another month, I think is
Yeah. Yeah.
what it
Something
was.
like that. Yes.
Yep. But so I dived right in, and the, you know, the colors, the story, I liked, I don't know, just reading both 1 and 2 together, it made me, I don't know. It was a very good experience. And so I'm excited for this campaign. And actually with this campaign, it's not that I just backed 3. I backed the catch up tier so I could have the physical book. So I will have the physical book for 1 and 2 incoming, and then 3. So you
Oh, thank you
definitely
so
sold
much.
me on
Yeah.
this book.
Oh wow, excellent. Yeah, yeah. The first campaign, it didn't do too well. The first, someone told me I could extend.
Mhm.
I didn't even know. I was new to Indiegogo, so I launched it without pre-launch page.
Hmm.
Mhm.
So it was kind of messy, and then I was almost 30 days in. I think it was that, and then Shay from Red Valkyrie, she had me on the
Mhm.
show, and she told me, "Hey, listen, you have to extend and go on Twitter, and we'll help you." And so I did that, and suddenly it blew up. So everyone started to retweet and talk about it, and I really I really expected not to make it the first
Mhm.
campaign, but suddenly these last few days were crazy,
Hmm.
and I think we reached about $8,000 of my
Well,
5,000 goal, so that was insane. Yeah.
I'm interested, Dave, and I mean I've seen you on streams before, of course, but it's always I never catch your origin story. So I'm interested to hear because you're saying like you give these comics to your family, and then they have no idea what the hell they're looking at. How did you
Yeah.
get into comics? Like if it was, you know what I mean? How did you get into it?
Well, I just loved comics when I was very young. I read superhero comics. They were translated. There was this little company that translated Marvel comics and DC comics. And the first ever superhero comic that I read, my first experience with superheroes was a special crossover edition where Spider-Man and Superman met.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah, yeah.
I didn't know these characters, so and there was this special format book. It was bigger than the usual comic book.
Oversized, yeah.
Yeah, and I completely loved that, and I wanted to know more about these characters. I think I was about 8 years old, um, and yeah, and it took me a little while to discover that these characters didn't belong in the same universe. That there were multiple companies that actually produced these books.
Hmm.
And I began to read the Hulk, Fantastic Four, Batman, all the famous titles, you know. And when I grew older, I began to I had this knack for drawing. Uh, my classmates always told me that I could draw well, and so I began to dream what if I could someday work for Marvel? You know,
Yeah,
that
but
would
they
be all.
wanted you to draw like this,
Yes,
like
yes, I
movies.
wanted to draw like that also.
Yeah,
So yeah, and
yeah.
yeah, man, and so that that was my dream. That was my goal. And
Mhm.
but and later in school, in high school, um, I that was the time when Image Comics came up. Um, and I got kind of inspired by Image. I was like, hey, maybe we don't need Marvel, or maybe we can do it. We can be the Dutch Image, but
Right.
no one knew us. We were nobodies. We were in school, and so me and a group of my friends from school, we started Genuine Comics. That started back then. I was about 19. Um, and we produced comics in Dutch. We kind of learned it. Um, we didn't have the resources. We didn't have crowdfunding, so we just made comics. We put together the money to make the books. It was black and white because we couldn't afford color.
Mhm.
Um, but we did it for about 5 years, and we sold some at conventions, and we learned many things. But at some point, the group kind of fell apart because we needed to do grown up things,
Yeah.
to work um,
Grown up
and
things. Grown up things are bullshit.
yeah, I know, man. But sometimes they need to happen, and 15 years later, so in 2014, I returned to making comic books, and that was this new line of comics that Perfect 10 comes from. Um, and so so none of the previous group, I'm still in touch with the people I started JM Comics with back in school, but I'm the only one still producing comics. Um, and I in 2014 you had Kickstarter, so that was the first platform that I tried
Mhm.
to get my project funded.
Right.
And it was really small. I had something about $2,500, which was tremendous to me. And and later, so I produced some books from a series called Earthling. That was my first English titled series.
Mhm.
And then I was approached by a small publisher. They wanted to publish my comics, and I was like, yeah, that's great. So I can focus on making comic books. Um, but that didn't work out. There are many people in this little industry. I had to find out that kind of want to profit from you, and it doesn't really get you anywhere.
Right.
Um, I had to learn that the hard way. So, and I think about 18 months later, I managed to pry myself away from the publisher, and I wanted to go my own way. So I rebranded Genuine Comics with the layout you see now. I was like, this is my only shot. If I want to do it, I have to do this right and not depend on other people. And I also moved over to Indiegogo because Kickstarter was in this weird stage that they were very censorious,
Mhm. Mhm.
and um,
That
and this is where so Perfect 10 was the first book I launched on Indiegogo, um, on my own without publisher.
nice. Well, I think you had some success. I see campaigns every once in a while that maybe I think they should be doing better, and yours is one of them. Like, and it's because mostly not because anything you say or even, but like I say, man, everybody that reads this, nobody's got a bad word to say, and they always recommend it. So I hope you grow, man. Like that's how grassroots kind of forms anyway. So I'm hoping it'll grow. we just need to get in front of more people, I think.
Yeah,
So
it's really crazy, but also makes me a little bit nervous to to know that so many people love this series. It gives me this responsibility to uh, to make sure that people get the best that I can provide them, and that they're happy with the next episode, with the next issue, uh, because yeah. Apparently, we've set the bar somewhere, and now I have to constantly try to stay on the same level, which is the goal, but it always makes me a little bit nervous. Will the next issue be as well received? You know? Yeah.
Yeah. Now you do the fulfillment yourself too, so that's probably a minor worry to as
Yeah,
you're
yeah,
growing. Like you want to grow, but you also want to be able to
yeah.
maintain your growth.
Well, luckily nowadays we have our good friend RJ from Critical Blast, and this campaign he will be doing the fulfillment for America.
oh,
Okay.
nice.
Yeah, and maybe Australia. So and Europe is still my deal. And then so this is a huge workload that I don't have to worry about. Um,
Hmm.
and RJ does many fulfillment works for other campaigns, and everyone is very pleased with his services. So yeah, I feel very good about this collaboration with him.
Now, I would assume that because I mean you're around here, and I mean your a majority of your backers are probably American. Would that be
Yeah,
correct?
yeah, about 90%.
Wow.
So, what have you learned about Americans that maybe you didn't know before you started crowdfunding? Because now you're interacting with a bunch of us, right?
Yeah,
So there's a stereotypical like, oh, cowboy American kind of thing, and like I've lived in Europe for a good while. So,
right.
are there some things from that you learned from Americans that maybe surprised you?
Oh, that's a good question. I'm not sure. I was a little bit how do you say, taken back by the divisive nature of some of these silly hobbies. This is just we're making comics, and
Hmm.
people sometimes act like it's majorly important, and and uh, I thought everyone would be having fun. And when
Hmm.
I started to work with certain people, then other people I worked with, also Americans, for instance, they began to warn me from, like, hey, do not. I'm hearing rumors that you're associating with specific people, and I didn't really get it. So that was really strange to me. I just want to have fun and produce comics that people like, and especially comics that I like. Um, so these restrictions are kind of strange to me, and luckily with this little community we're having, people just want to see other creators having the freedom to make whatever they want.
Hmm.
Hmm.
Um, and this is where I feel at home. This is a fantastic community.
Or past Master Dan's question your sanity for wanting to have fun.
Yeah, it's
That's
weird,
my
right? Some
make.
some people are just miserable, and they want other people to be also miserable for some reason. I don't get it, man.
I think
So
it's like more of a like I mean Amanda and I we've kind of touched on this when we talk amongst each other, but it's almost like if you're a fan of this person, then you can't be a fan of anybody else. So that kind of like that, like it's a team mentality. I think I don't know. Like it doesn't matter to me, right? Like
right.
if I like Perfect 10, I like Perfect 10. If I like Groken better than fourth on my best list, then I like Groken better than fourth on my best list, Amanda. That's just how it is.
That is how it
So
is.
Yeah.
yeah,
Deal with
but
it,
it doesn't.
Leroy.
But it doesn't matter It doesn't matter that somebody else has perfect 10, like number one. You should be happy. So Tim Mello absolutely says misery loves company. That's true. That's very true. Comic skate is a comfy slipper with a dog slobber on
I
it.
prefer mine slobberless.
You don't have a dog. You have a cat.
Yes.
I
Yes.
I actually consider myself a dog person. I owned a dog. The only reason why I don't own a dog now is one because I don't have the time for it. I'm not home enough. And then, or actually, now that I
You
say that, like,
stream 24/7.
I
What do you
do
mean you're
not.
not
But
home
that was
enough?
also before COVID. Well, I used to volunteer with everything, and I would just drag my kid along with me. But but the only reason why I have a cat now is because my apartment won't allow dogs. But I am more partial to dogs. They have much more personality and less annoying behaviors
Hmm.
than a cat does.
Okay.
Mhm.
So you're in Europe, Dave. Are you a
Yes.
soccer fan? Do you watch soccer?
No, not really. No.
Damn it! One of these days, I want to get somebody on here that watches soccer, so I can talk soccer. One of
Yeah.
these days.
Yeah, it is very popular here, but I was more like the quiet boy, just sitting in the corner while everyone was celebrating the soccer match, and
Yeah.
I was just drawing.
So he was reading and drawing his comic books
Yeah,
Well,
while
I mean, you
exactly.
could have like Ajax or PSV Eindhoven like playing while you're drawing. Like
Right.
you
Yeah,
never
exactly.
know.
Yeah.
My chat chews on all my charging cords, all of them, says Past Master Dan.
to add to that, I got for Christmas I renovated like my curtains, and part of my curtains that I have, because I have this really big picture window and I have 3 sets of curtains going across it, but then I also bought this thing off of Amazon that is like this really long light set, so it has like the lights will dangle down over the picture window. My cat has chewed off 2 of them
Oh wow.
and like ticked off at him. But yeah, and he's starting to chew my cords. I have to hide them. So yeah.
Yeah.
Luis Ledesma's joined us. Hello, Luis. It's 2 days in a row or 3 days in a row, maybe. I don't know. He's back. Luis
He's
is
back.
back. Yeah.
Guess who's back?
Hello, Luis.
Back again.
Oh. So you got a cat, Dave? You got a cat? You got cat
Yeah, yeah,
stories?
yeah. We got a cat. We got a cat. Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, he has pictures with his cat lounging with him. He's a oh wait, what kind of cat? I want to say he's gray, but I think I'm just thinking like a big fluffy gray one.
Yeah, yeah. It's gray and brown. It's a European short hair. We call it here. I'm not sure what the name is where you are.
I
Um,
think all of our cats here are one breed in the
right.
States.
Okay. Yeah.
No.
They all get out of the house and do it, and then they all just conglomerates into one big breed. All right. Chet's got nothing. All right, Dave. So like you said, you started with the Superman,
Spider-Man. Yeah, Superman
Spider-Man.
Spider-Man.
Um, yeah. And then you went into Image. So I'm guessing it was like Spawn and Savage Dragon and all the rest of
Oh
it, right?
yes, yes. From the beginning. So Youngblood. Savage Dragon was one of my favorite series. And today was a special day. Today was the day that Eric Larson deleted his Twitter account.
I hold on. I just have to say because I've been bugging Amanda about this all day. Today was a glorious day on the internet. Glorious. If
Your
you
most favorite day, I believe, is how you put it.
Well,
Yeah.
look, I'm a people watcher by nature, so I'll just like go somewhere and watch people, or you know what I mean. So I just
Yeah.
people watch today on the internet, and it
Right.
was glorious all day. I mean, I laughed so hard my stomach hurts right now. So go
Yeah.
ahead.
People can get so riled up about stupid things, man. So,
Tim Mello knows what we're talking about. Talking about Larson deleting his Twitter. Mm. So yeah,
It does make you wonder how long until those people will be back, though.
what, Twitter? Like, you think they're coming back?
I
yeah.
I don't know.
Well,
Like,
where
I
else
think
can they go?
they could go somewhere else, but I don't know if it's the same thing. You know what I mean? And then I don't know. We'll
Oh,
see.
poor Stat. He just joined us. He doesn't want to hear about Elon
Hello,
Musk
Stat.
anymore. So Savage Dragon, and all that. You got into that.
Oh yeah, I loved the Savage Dragon. And Spawn, I didn't really get into Spawn.
Hmm.
It was a bit too dark. I wasn't much of the darker series. Like for instance, later on you had this from not from Top Cow. You had series like Witchblade. Witchblade was cool, but you also had this other series called The Darkness, and that was very popular here.
Well, we don't talk about Top Cow on this channel without talking about Hunter Killer and Velocity and Cyberforce.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
Cyberforce was great, but The Darkness was the main character. I didn't care for it. He
really,
was no this what was his name? This mafia character. He was a murderer, and I didn't get I didn't get it. It was kind of this age wherein these darker heroes became popular. Um, and
how much do you think that the Dark Knight had to do with all that though? Like, so
yeah,
Batman really turned around in '86, I think '86 with Dark Knight Returns, and they made him like very dark and broody and all the rest of it. So
yeah.
how much influence do you think that had on then all these other comics like taking that turn, Dave?
Well, yeah, of course, because they see these books sell, so it's like, oh, okay, there's a market for this. Plus, the creators they get older and they get a different taste and they want to try different things and they want it to be edgy, and so I get it why these things happened. I do get it, but some of these things were not really the kind of they weren't really heroes, I thought, and I try to remain that heroic element in my books.
Hmm.
Yeah,
So you're saying you're not an edge lord, Dave?
I suppose. Yeah.
Well, there's nothing wrong with that. I'm just saying.
Actually, that is one thing that I like all kinds of books. I don't mind if something goes to the dark side, or I don't mind if something's, a little bit more nudity or risque, but I definitely don't want it to be all that. And I really like the setup of your book because it's definitely one that I could easily give to my 9-year-old and not be concerned with what she's digesting when she reads it
Mm.
or whatnot. So I would consider an all ages book.
Now,
Yeah, that's.
would
Oh,
you rather
sorry.
give your daughter Perfect 10 or Sailor Moon?
Well,
Yeah.
she showed more interest in the manga than she did comic
But
books,
as a
so
parent, what would you feel more comfortable with her reading?
I'd probably feel more comfortable with Perfect 10.
See, that's what I'm saying, Dave.
Oh, really? Oh,
Yeah.
wow.
A vote for Perfect 10 is a vote for decency in Amanda's eyes.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah, it's a fine line sometimes because some things happening in this series they are sometimes a little bit shocking, I think, and so it's difficult for me to determine what age is best for children to read this.
Yeah, well,
I
if it blends to the story, it's good as long as it's not like the main focus
right, yes, yes,
in my eyes. You know what I mean? Like, although I've also been to the point where, okay, she's 9, I'm thinking she's okay with a PG-13 movie. Anything over that, I'd probably be like, nope, I need to see it first.
You should show her Haifa.
Right. Although there was a time when she was 7 and, the Air Buddies movies that
I don't
have
know.
like the golden retriever, and it was the scary buddies, so the little puppy dogs were ghosts. She was not happy with that. She was a little scared by that. So she is a little sensitive to some things.
Tim Mello says Spawn probably had a ton of influence in the '90s as well as on darker comics. I gave up on Spawn after issue 4, so that I'm not a huge knower of anything Spawn. But I mean, Spawn was dark. I mean,
hmm
yeah. I mean, the origin story is that he's dark, for sure.
right,
Uh,
yeah.
Pastmaster Dan is arguing for positive female role models. There you go. Jim Cox is here. Jim, if you want the link, let me know and I'll send you the link, buddy. I knew
Hello,
you.
Jim.
Yeah, Jim. We had All right, Dave. We had a countdown last week of our top 5 favorite CG comics.
I think he popped in for some of it. I don't know if he was here for the whole thing.
Jim Cox had you rated number 1 at Perfect 10. He
Wow,
was your favorite. Yeah. So there you
that's
go.
that's that's amazing. That's yeah. With so many comics out there, this something that boggles my mind, man. People
Well,
love it
no,
so
I
much.
mean, if you could feel good about it, Dave, but I'll tell you this: that Perfect 10's the only CG comic that Jim has probably read so far too.
Oh wow, yeah.
I don't know that I'd go that far.
Pastmaster Zen says it's when they ask those difficult questions that's the true test of parental feet shuffling. What? Oh, he's talking about when the kids ask the questions. Are you got kids or
Mm.
no, Dave?
No, no, I don't.
Okay. Jim says no, that's not true. I've read at least 10 books, which is funny because Jim backs everything, Dave. So
All
that's why
right.
that's funny.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a lot out there, and that's the cool thing, man, about CG. You have so much going on, so many different books and styles and tastes, and this is how you these people complaining about how you need diversity. This is how you get the diversity. Just let people make whatever they want to make, uh, so you get something for everyone. You know.
For sure.
Yeah.
Um, Amanda, like, okay, so there's a big time difference, Dave, because you're in Holland,
Yeah.
and you said 90% of your customer base is in the States.
Yes.
How difficult is that as far as from a marketing standpoint, that big time difference, as far as like being on streams and scheduling, because you have I assume you have a regular job because you.
Yeah, sometimes streams. I miss the streams that are well starting around this time. Most streams starting around this time. I kind of miss. Sometimes I get invites and um, this is great, but there is this little overlap, and I try to do as much as possible of my marketing during that little overlap that we have. So when you guys wake up, that's um, that's close to afternoon where I am,
Mhm.
um, and then that's when I start to post stuff. I've noticed when I start posting when I wake up, it's kind of useless. People do not see it. So that was a little bit of learning. But besides that, um, um, yeah, there are some shows that I would love to be able to follow live, but it's just not possible because when you're in the show in the chat, you say hi, people know you. So I'm not that familiar, I think, with some shows.
Mhm.
Um, but hey, it's what it is. And
It is a
but
bit rough because, yeah, like you say, now would be when you're starting to miss things. And technically, in America, prime time is give it maybe another hour because 8 o'clock is when a lot of the shows come on. So you have an
yeah,
hour and 20 minutes and you're sleeping.
Well,
yes,
it's 20 till 1 a.m. I mean, it's getting 1
Yeah.
a.m. In Netherlands there, so this is rough, I'm sure. But I always thought it was a shame because you know you, I look at something like Perfect 10, and I mean, I've talked to Shane about it. And he's talked about this book on his stream, but he's like, well, how can he get on? And you're like, dude, he lives in Netherlands. It'll be awful hard, kind of thing. But I mean, I still do see you quite a bit. So you make time where you can. So I mean,
yeah,
it's more
make
of a
time
compliment.
when I can, and it has happened that I've been on streams. Well, it's like 3 or 4 in the morning for me, but during these campaign days, you just need to get out there and do this. So um, I can't do it every night, but once per week I can do this. It goes with the job. So But the
Now
problem is
you were
that
on.
sometimes people do not know me. I think of these streams during these times, so it's tougher to get on. I think.
Yeah,
No,
yeah,
you were on
that's a
Bancroft,
fault.
right?
Go
Sorry.
ahead.
You were on Bancroft with the launch of this one, weren't you? Or shortly
Yes,
after?
yes, yes.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay.
I think people like Jim and Amanda here, they do a good job for you of making sure people are aware. I hope everybody like clicks on the link that we have. I know Dan, it's in the description below. By all accounts, this is one of the better CG books out there. Just click on it and check it out. Amanda, why don't you tell us what it tells gives what's it about?
Instead of okay, so it's been a year since I've read this, Leroy.
You've known
um,
David was coming on here for like a week.
I didn't reread the book.
Oh my
Anyways,
goodness. Dave,
so
yell at her.
Dave's too
No,
nice
I
to
can't
do
do
that.
that.
Oh, all right. I'll yell at her.
So the main book has the main character 10. She
This
is
is her?
yes, that is
Okay.
her. She kind of wakes up from like an amnesia type thing. She doesn't remember anything from before, but she's rescued. And the I can't remember exactly what happens in book 1 versus book 2, but they're basically getting her out of this I'm at a loss for words, Leroy, you put me on the spot. A like an underground science lab, and there's this group of engineered bad people, or actually maybe they're natural, Dave, right? They're not. 10 is engineered, correct?
Yes, yes. Tennis,
Okay.
tennis synthetic. Yes.
Okay. And then there's these other people with magical abilities that are coming and raiding this science lab,
Are they
and
magical? Like, or are they like
not abilities.
technical
I wouldn't
abilities?
say
Okay.
magical. They have a wide range of abilities,
Okay.
and it's not like they can do everything. I think they have like a specialized power, for lack of a better word. Correct,
Mm-hmm.
Dave?
Right, right. These synthoids, they're called. They are they have this artificial tissue that's 10 times, so they're 10 times stronger and faster than normal humans, and they can heal very fast. Um, yeah.
Keep going, Amanda.
Well, I
Dave's
want to
not.
say the first book is about her escaping the lab with a few. There are some casualties on both sides.
But 10 lives.
But 10 lives.
Okay.
Yes. And then they go to another location, and I'm actually surprised I remember as much detail being a year later. They go to another location where they kind of set up shop, regroup.
Hold on. We want to shout out Admiral Wackass, who says he's backer number 294. So,
Oh wow!
thank
Thank you,
you, Admiral
LAW.
Wackass.
thank you, man.
And he's
On
not letting
that
you off the
note,
hook. Keep going.
no, well, on that note, when I posted about this book being my top 5 and how we were doing this, the very first post about this stream, Astro Zombie actually backed the backup tier or the
There you
catch up
go.
tier too. So based on the tweet, so if he's listening, shout out to him.
If he's not listening
Um,
now, I'll probably catch the replay. So hell, Astro Zombie.
yeah.
Now keep going.
Okay. So they're kind of regrouping, figure out what's going on next. The doctor that escaped with her, they go to God, Leroy. Don't this is
Keep
I'm like the
going.
worst person trying to tell them
I like this. Now, Dave, you might think this is
you
mean,
put me on pressure.
right?
No, this
So
this is fantastic.
Yeah, it is fantastic. I agree. Keep going.
so the doctor meets up with the son at the new location, and one of the things that I'm excited to know more about is the fact that there's a bit of a underlying story between the father and the son, because the son is upset with the father for something, but he doesn't quite go into it yet. So there's definitely a dynamic there that I am interested in knowing more about. And so then the baddies come into the city because they're trying to get after 10, and she ends up in the end, spoilers, um basically like fighting but also allowing them to take her where they're going.
All right, hold on. I got to interrupt real quick. You're not off the hook. Admiral Wackhat says, grab the ketchup, cover B, Crossroads, and Dream Girl all signed. So thank you,
Wow,
Wackats. We appreciate it. And,
fantastic! Thank you so
and
much.
Hicksville agrees with me. He says Amanda's book report needs to happen more.
If I know what's gonna happen, but I'm gonna reread the books before
Well,
I do
I
the
don't
stream.
understand. Okay, Dave, this is how this went down, right? I knew Amanda and Jim were big fans of Perfect 10. So I saw your tweet and you were like, "Hey, does anybody have a show I could join? I want to talk about my book." And I'm like, "Well, these guys love your stuff. I'll get them on here." So excited because I did something nice for Amanda. So excited because I'm a shit to her. Let's be real. Like I'm a shit. But then she doesn't even read the book and she knows we're going to do this.
I didn't reread the book, Leroy.
No, no, she did
Where's
pretty
How
good.
Jim?
how
Pick on
disappointed on a
Jim.
scale of 1 to 10, Dave, right now? How disappointed are you in Amanda?
He's not. He won't say
No,
he
I'm
was, even
not.
if he
I'm
was.
not.
Oh.
She supports me. She loves the books. I'm very pleased with
And
Amanda.
I didn't do bad. I don't have all the nice, super glossy details to tell you.
No,
That's
no,
really gonna sell the
you,
story.
no, you got the major beats. So that's good.
Look at
But
Dave
the
sucking up to
highlight
Amanda.
of the actually one thing whenever I say what I like best about the story, besides the story, like I really like the story. Like I want to know what's gonna happen next. And like I said, that father son dynamic, I'm wondering what's going on there. Um, but it's the art, and the art for the sake of all the character designs are super unique. So when you have those battle scenes, you know who's doing what and where. It's not confusing as to, wait, this person was there, who's this person battling? And it's not like a blur of color, which, you know, love
You
Arcathena, but some of those panels, I'm like, what is this person doing and who's they doing it to?
right?
But with your book, I don't have those questions.
Oh, that's great. That's great to hear. Yeah,
I
yeah.
guess it's all right. You did all right, Amanda. You did all right.
What am I writing down on paper, Slacker? My cliff notes? If I know
Yeah,
this is
that's
gonna
what he's
happen more,
saying.
my cliff
Slacker's
notes will
calling
be
you out.
better.
He's saying this is
Yes.
bullshit. You should have done show prep. What's going
Uh,
on here? Slacker's disappointed. He's like at a scale of 1 to 10. He's like 10 disappointed in you.
yeah, I'm pretty sure though at what it was like 3 o'clock my time. You're like, hey, Dave can do it at 6, and I'm like, mentally, I'm like, oh yeah, I forgot, but that'll work.
Well,
Even though you mentioned Monday, I don't know.
yeah, you don't all
You
week. Amanda did
yeah.
nothing wrong,
See?
says Michael. He's simping. That doesn't count. Is Auxilium the team or a place? Says Jim Cox. That's a question for David.
Yeah, Auxilium is the name of the team that this character called Lifeline. That's the doctor's son, and he's part of that team. Yeah, and there is this we have this other book called Power Trip. It's a anthology book. It has three shorter stories, and one of these stories is called Auxilium, and that's about this team. Um, so you get to know a little bit about the team. It wasn't necessary for this book to include it here for this story, but I thought it was fun to tell people about the team, what they're about.
Okay. How much you have an artist? How much do you do as when it comes to layouts, or are you hands off? How does that work, Dave?
It really depends on the artist. With Pau, it's almost none. Um, I just write whatever I want him to draw, and he comes back to me almost every time with perfect layouts. Sometimes it does happen that there's a little miscommunication, so I have to edit some stuff or some camera angles that I like to have different or little changes, but nothing much. Pau is me and Pau are at the same level. We get it. We get the story, the script. So yeah, that's great. With other artists, sometimes I need to do the layout duties. So yeah.
Do you have a preference? Would you rather do it like if you always had an artist like Powell, who you just could be hands off?
Yeah, that's fantastic. So
That's what you would prefer?
yes, I
Okay.
think that the artists also prefer that, because if I do the layouts for them, they kind of feel like they're being guided, you know.
Mm,
And I want artists to feel uh, uh, that they have the freedom to visualize the story like they see it. Um, and some people like Pau, he draws things that I didn't even come up with. So he brings his own ideas into the visual aspect, and that inspires me also for the story. Sometimes I make little rewrites because he drew some things that I find inspiring, and I try to integrate that somehow in the story. Yeah,
okay. Let's hit refresh. So we did get Admiral Wackass a backer back, so you're 234. That's
yeah,
pretty good. So you're
yeah.
already
Thank
on
you.
top of the last book as far as backer count. So that's good. Is it encouraging as an artist or a creator, I should say? But you did say you were an artist, so that's not far off. But is it encouraging to see the growth time after time after time? Well, how encouraging is it? Because I know it's encouraging.
It's very very encouraging. Yeah, because it's there have been many times that I thought, why am I doing this? Should I continue? Should I quit? It takes so much to make one book, even. And so when I see that people love it and that people appreciate it, and that really energizes me to this. This is why I do it. Why I keep doing it. People love it, so I keep doing it. Once people tell me this sucks, man, then there's no point for me to continue. I think.
I hope nobody ever says that.
Yeah, hopefully
Yeah,
not. How many issues do you think to complete this arc that we're in?
4.
So one more after this.
Yes,
Oh, nice.
yes, and I gotta say that this issue 3, was the most difficult issue for me to write. Um, because it's this bridging issue between what came before plus the grand final, um, and some things needed to happen, and I had to cut a lot of things out that I wanted in. So I was struggling to make to keep the pacing right, to cut things out while also making things um, uh, balanced. So, and I think I managed, but it was the most. This was very challenging.
Hmm.
This issue, um, and I'm really curious to know what people think about it when they receive it. Um, and I'm looking forward to start the next issue after this one, because we're now in the momentum for Perfect 10, and uh, once this is done, we want to continue the next one, because this story is it the entire story is the same day also. So it's very
Oh, really?
fast
Oh, so it's
paced.
it's like 24 then. Like
Yeah, yeah,
like
yeah,
the
yeah.
yeah,
You
yeah.
can say that. Yes.
Okay.
So so yeah, that's pretty cool.
So after the fourth issue, are you going to stay in this world, or are you talking about another IP? Because obviously you're having success. I would assume you're going to keep making comics until, like you said, you're not having success anymore. So are you going to stay with Perfect 10, or are you going to go somewhere else?
Well, all the books that we make take place in the same universe. I am going to do other titles, but it will also include characters from this series, for
Oh,
instance.
okay.
Yeah, but I don't want to stay too long on the same series. I have so many characters and have so many cool things that I want to tell. Um, I try to do as many titles as possible, because we can't produce a comic book every month.
Yeah,
Um,
it's unrealistic.
yeah,
Yeah.
so now people have to wait like 8 months or something between issues. And so I don't want to do series of like 12 issues. So this takes like 6 years of my
Right.
life. Um, yeah,
It's just 6 years.
yeah, just 6 years. I know, but it's 6 years that I can't spend on other stories that I also want to tell.
Right.
So yeah.
You watch the video, Amanda? Is it good? I haven't seen it.
Um, yeah, hang on one sec though. To go off of what he did. Now, didn't you have or launch a sign up page that somebody else was writing one of
Yeah, yeah,
your
yeah. It is.
universe characters?
Yes. There's a sign up page right now for American Bliss,
Okay.
and American
I
Bliss
thought
was
that was the
one
title, but I
was
couldn't
one of
remember.
the short stories from the Power Trip title that I mentioned, um, and I had been talking with Michael Oden to work with him on something, and and he told me that the character American Bliss was the one that he wanted to write, and I wasn't really planning on making that a series.
Mhm.
But he had this concept, this idea for the story, and he pitched it to me, and I was like, yeah, man, this is fantastic. So let's just do it. So he will be producing this series, and he brought on the artist Eric Hodgson,
Okay.
um, and I tried to be hands off as much as possible. I do the editing, and I make sure that everything fits within the universe,
Yep.
and that's basically it. Uh, yeah,
Okay.
Jim Cox says, is a Flying Dutchman part of the Auxilium, and might he show up in this story?
the Flying Dutchman is a solo character. He's not part of Auxilium, of the team. Um, he's the Superman from the Netherlands, so he's just solo, and he will have cameos in different books. I'd love to give him his own book sometime, but at this point, it's not really a priority yet.
So he
Um,
fights for the truth, justice, and the cheese wheel way, since he's from the
yes,
Netherlands.
exactly.
It sounds like you should have Jim come in here and give his book report.
I asked him if he wanted to come in. He didn't say. He didn't reply there, Amanda. I don't know what to say.
Okay.
I mean, you could put some peer pressure on Jim.
Jim needs to come and give his book report.
All right. All right. Let's watch a video. I've not seen it yet, so.
Who am I supposed to trust when everyone sees me as a means to their ends? Where am I supposed to go when I don't exist? How do I know where I belong when I don't even know who I am? I have no real name. I'm just a number to them, a weapon, a pawn in a war I don't want to be involved in. Division M and the Prime Syndicate are two sides of the same coin. They exist because of each other. I exist because of them. I was supposed to be a solution, a way towards peace. But I'm just another problem, a liability, a mistake. I have more enemies than I can count. What am I supposed to do? I can't do this alone. I need friends.
You recognize that voice there, Leroy?
No.
You don't recognize the voice.
No,
No.
Allie.
Okay. Why would I mean? I don't know
Alright.
why you're shocked. I don't recognize a voice. I would recognize your voice and Vanessa's voice,
Okay.
and that's about
So
it.
that's who you talk to the most.
Right. Right.
But yeah, no, Allie did it. No, she did the one for number 2 too, which I thought was really cool. How did you How did that happen, Dave? That you got Ali on board?
I was when I was producing when I was building the campaign for issue one. I thought it would be cool to have to have someone to have a voice actress. So I actually looked into that, um, um, and then I saw this video on YouTube from Ellie's own channel. I didn't know her. I nothing. I'd never heard about her, and I just watched that video. It was a video about the Last Jedi, and she was ranting about the movie, and I was like, that voice, that would be great if that was the voice of Ten. And I just reached out to her. I was like, hey, would you be interested in voicing a comic book character? And she was very interested, and I sent her the digital comic, and she was like, yep, I'm going to do this. And then after that, I learned that she was actually part of this entire comic community. I didn't know that.
Oh, you didn't know that
I
before?
was fairly new myself.
Okay.
Yeah,
Hold on. We got Hicks Villain at backer number 295. He said he would back day one backer, but he just backed the Cross World Commission. So
dude.
we
Oh
Hell
wow,
appreciate
sure.
amazing.
we appreciate you. And Jim Cox also brings up a point. If you guys want to go over and sub to Dave's YouTube channel, there's the link. I'm sure Dave
Oh,
would appreciate that.
thank you,
He
Jim.
does a drink with Brink.
Yes.
What's that all about?
This is well, when I started to do these campaigns, I needed to promote it. So people were so kind to have me on their shows, um, and at one point I even managed to get on John Malin's show. He had this show where you could just um, um,
I've never heard of him. Who's that?
yeah, yeah, some guy who makes comics,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
It has no eyebrows.
right. And anyway, after the show, John talked to me and he said, "Dude, you gotta do something with your own channel. You have to build your audience." And I was like, "I can't do that, man. I'm just a writer. I want to make comic books, and I'm nervous. I stutter. I have this weird accent. I can't do this, man." And he was like, "Well, that's the way you have to do it, man. Try it out." And so I just started this little show with two of my friends. We called it the Dutch Angle, and I was like, when I do this together with other people, I feel less anxious about it.
For sure. Yeah, it makes sense.
Yeah, and that show, yeah, it was pretty fun, and slowly I forced myself to do it every week, to do something every week.
Yeah.
Um, and now it's like 2 years later, and
Does the drinking help relax you? And do you ever drink Heineken?
I drink Heineken sometimes. Yes,
Oh, there we go.
yes. Uh, yeah, but yeah. So and now it's still I'm still not comfortable doing these shows, but I know it needs to be done, and I'm doing it, and I'm trying to have fun. And sometimes I even forget there are people watching, and then it goes really well.
Yeah, that so I always figure what like first of all, let me I'm gonna compliment Amanda and Vanessa real quick. I don't like doing it alone either. And these gals here have been with me for a long time. They're like my security blanket. So it always makes it better when I'm streaming with one of them. So there you go. You have to have somebody you can actually have fun with. Amanda and I, we poke fun at each other and whatever. And it can't
Yeah.
always be about the. I know you. It's very easy to say I just need to talk about the book, right? But I
Hmm.
think you can't just do that. Like you have to like throw, always bring it back to the book. But I want to know about you as a fan, right?
Right.
Dave. So, like, if you talk about, hey, like, my next question would be, hey, I know you have a real job and you do comics, but what do you do outside of that? Like, what are your hobbies? And then you talk about that for a while. Then we'll bring it back to the book. But I feel like that kind of stuff, it makes it more fun. Am I wrong?
Right. Well, if you ask me if I have other hobbies, I barely have time for anything else. But my own work and this,
That's it.
yeah, that's basically it. Plus my relationship, I can't neglect my partner, you know. So yeah.
Why not? I do.
Yeah.
It makes
Yeah.
them
So,
like you more. Just ignore them.
oh really? Oh.
No, no, not really. Not really at all. That's
Leroy's
terrible
being a
advice.
smart ass.
Terrible advice. Smart RN's in the house. What is up? Jim Cox said that the commission, whatever commission that Hicksville bought, was pretty tempting. Let's look at the perk,
The
shall we? See
Crossroads
what.
commit. Yeah, I'm like, oh, what are they talking about? So I pulled up the campaign. I was looking at that commission too.
So here it is, and what do you get in it? Pick any non-genuine verse character you want, mainstream, indie, or your own. So it's not a commission from anybody that you write, Dave. Is that right?
No, you can pick your own character, so whatever you want, plus one character from the genuine universe, and they cross over.
Oh,
This is because we have this second book in our campaign. I try with every campaign. I try to have the main feature, so the
real
main book.
quick, real quick. I need to butt in real quick because Smart RN's trying to say horns up, and it's horns down in this chat, not horns up.
Oh,
No, it's terrible. Anyways, keep going, Dave.
so the last campaign, the second book was Power Trip, and this campaign, the second book, is called Crossworlds, and this is a book that is meant is a title where we can publish books that fall outside canon. There are crossovers with other titles, and this particular first issue crosses over with a character from Antarctic Press called Camilo Wallace. And so in the theme of Crossworlds, I came up with this commission. So it's a crossover commission.
So you're saying that if Jim did this commission here, he can get Haifa from Grogan and 10 from Perfect 10.
Yeah, for instance, yeah.
Why wouldn't you do that, Amanda?
I don't know. And it's a good price because you get the commission and all the books.
Now, is your artist good enough? Like, if he, like, there's a character from Grogan called Haifa. I don't know if you backed it, Dave, but she has
Yes.
she has flies and shit that follow her everywhere she goes.
She's
Oh,
the
wow.
cook.
Is your artist good enough to draw the flies and the bats and shit to follow?
Yeah,
Haifa
definitely.
around?
Yeah, the artist is Paul Rodriguez, so from Perfect 10.
So, Jim, I don't know why you're not getting this commission then. It's like two of your favorite characters.
And get Haifa, yeah. He'd probably have a hard time deciding who from the genuine verse, though.
Yeah.
Let's get back to the chats. It's not always about the fun. I'm brought in to put people to sleep. That's not true, Stat. You helped out yesterday. We were watching the auction together. Michael says crowdfunding is sort of a personal transaction. A little connection between creators and fans is helpful. Also, horns down, boomers sooner, says Michael. We're talking about American college sports. There's shit talking going on in the chat. I know you don't understand,
Right.
Dave, but all we have to say is in this channel, it's "Let's go Mountaineers," obviously. So, wait, what? It would be 10 and Haifa, right? Jim Cox, you said you loved Haifa. Just saying.
That'd be interesting to have Haifa and Perfect 10, or 10 right next to each other.
So you came in. When did you come into the CG community, Dave? Like what year? Was it like a year and a half, 2 years ago, a year ago? Like when do you reckon?
Well, it was kind of when I moved over to Indiegogo, and then I came into contact with all these channels that I didn't really. I suddenly had to do my own promotion. I wasn't with this publisher no more. I had to do my own promotion. I saw people doing things on channels. I began to follow these channels. One of the first was the first channel that I was guest on was the Rabbi from Another Planet.
Mm-hmm.
And he was also about how these modern comics, yeah, well, they kind of suck, you know. And all about the CG, and this is how I learned about this community, this CG.
Right. So, is there when you came in, is there any like is there certain creators you were looking at and like taking inspiration from of like these guys interact with the fans the right way, or I like their campaign layouts, or any kind of any of that? But is there any kind of creators that popped out when you came over and like this guy's doing it right?
Yeah, I think Michael Bancroft is one of the people that I find pretty inspiring. He makes his own comic book. He's very successful with his own channel. He's very charismatic. Um, um, and I watched EVS. Um, I watched John Mailing. I started with these bigger channels, you know, and
Hmm.
and then slowly trickled down to discover these smaller channels. And now I prefer these smaller channels really, um, because I feel like I can achieve that, or it's more personal. Um, um,
Oh, it's easier to make a connections with fans this way for sure.
Yeah.
I think
yeah,
so.
I
I
yeah.
like
mean,
the conversations in the smaller chat too.
all these people in the chat right now, I feel like I'm friends with one way or the other. These guys have been around around me for 2 years now. So, let's see. Michael says, okay, Smart RN says, tremendous body on that 10, but needs long hair. The shorter the woman's hair, the more she has given up.
Yeah,
98% of men prefer long hair. I don't know if that's like a fact. I think Smart RN just pulled that out of his ass,
yeah.
man.
Some women can really pull off the short hair, short look.
Hmm.
Yeah. Um,
And Jim says,
in the early designs, Tan did have long hair.
what
Uh,
happened?
yeah,
What'd you change it for?
I just felt that this was right for her. She's a former assassin, and I thought, I don't know, I wanted to capture something unique. You have so many characters, so many girls with long hair, and um, we made several designs with finding the right hairstyle, and Pau even started drawing the comic book when I suddenly found the right hairstyle from a photograph from a model with this wild hair, short wild hair, and I
Hmm.
was like, "Wow, this is it, man! This is her. This is it." And he had to redraw the first few pages, um, to get the new hairstyle, and I was like, "Yeah, this is unique. I've never seen this before." Um, the way Pau draws it, at
Yeah.
least. So
I
yeah.
think what you should do with it, I know Smart RN has, I think the short hair is good, but I think you should make it gray in honor of Amanda and make it like gray hairs like Amanda has.
Oh, okay.
Gray hair, except for when it's between being dyed, and then it's just wisps of gray.
Uh, Jim says, tan and white from Black and White by RTBR in a cat fight would be an interesting commission. I would agree with him. That would be
All right.
interesting.
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah, smaller channels are better. So stat. No, Admiral Wackass says he likes short hair and long hair. Looks right with short hair. Talking about 10. Stat is coming. Everybody has hair opinions. She had long hair, but ended up cutting on the cutting room floor.
Hot, hot, hot. Get it?
But I'm
Get
bummed.
it?
Yes.
Smart RN says so many because 98% of men prefer it. It's a known fact. Huge data on that. So Smart RN. That means he's pulling it out of. That's like Texas facts. You
No,
can't
no,
believe.
I'm looking it up. So there is
Well, show the screen then.
no,
Let's
no,
look
it's
at the
on my.
facts.
I'm looking at it on my phone.
Oh, fine.
Um, so it does say that there was like Yahoo Answers, and 9 times out of 10 he'll say long, but there was this Daily Mail reporter poll that did a survey of 3,000 men, but it said 43% of the men preferred long hair, but I guess it was specifics. So 43% prefer long and wavy, 13% prefer long and straight, 9% prefer mid-length straight, and 3% prefer mid-length wavy curled.
Oh,
So that's like 100% out of the 90% that prefer specific waves.
Yeah, but that doesn't even include like bobby cuts or whatever.
No, that was the 10% previous. So yeah, no, I may not be exactly. Well,
That's
So,
like a
it's
uh,
that's
98,
like a
but-
stat poll. Like it has room for interpretation.
so how many did prefer the green hair with the shaved bald side?
That's 90%.
That wouldn't be my
women.
preference.
Yeah.
Right.
What else? He says it's not what about looks good. It's what about what looks best. Some of us can be overly picky about her hair length, says Michael. And then I don't know why Stato said hey.
But
Oh, because of
to
his polls.
His
That's right.
poll, yeah.
Yeah.
We
yeah,
like your
but
polls, Stato. At least
to
some of us do.
compensate our other ladies in this comic with long flowing hair. So yeah.
Well, yeah. Let's take a. Is there any? Let's see.
There was a blonde.
Let's take a look right here.
As a
Yeah.
blonde with really long hair. So,
Yeah, she's like Rapunzel.
yes, that's right.
So there you go, Smart RN. Back because of her. What's her name?
Wisp.
Wisp. She's
Yeah.
got long blonde. Well, first of all, okay, so everything's bigger in Texas, right? Have you ever heard that, Dave?
Yes.
That's a saying, and that's including women's hair. So you have to have big hair in
All right.
Texas.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
That's
she
good.
has what we would call Texas hair.
I
Wisp
don't. Doesn't
does.
it go up and out, not necessarily long to the floor?
Well, it's obviously humid today, like in this,
Okay.
so it's kind of flat. I
Well, you
would
do got some
say,
heat going on.
yeah. So Smart RN, you can take solace in the fact that Wisp isn't Texan in heart, right, Dave?
Yeah, probably. Yeah.
Yeehaw! You gotta have draw with the horns, hook him up, and then he'd probably back. So there you go. What else you got going on tonight, Dave? Anything?
No, I haven't got anything planned. I'm just going to make the rounds, say hi in some chats, see where I can jump in, and I have the day off for tomorrow, so I can. I don't think I can sleep until the campaign is finished. So I'll just be doing some promoting. Maybe I can post some new art to get these last few backers in. Yeah.
Well, if you got, I'm gonna go eat and all that because it's kind of like you're right in the middle of our dinner time. But I tell you what, I'll keep an eye on you. If you're not streaming when you're closing, I'll fire up another stream. So, but
Oh
I
wow.
would hope that somebody would help you out. But if not, I'll be your last choice. This is what I'm telling you, Dave.
Oh wow. Oh, thanks a lot, man. Thanks a lot.
I don't know if that sounds good or not. I'll be your
Yeah.
last choice.
Well, I mean, yeah, I've
You're
already
dumping on
talked to all of
yourself.
everybody today. We got them some backers. I think,
Yeah.
like Astro Zombie, Hicks Villain, Admiral Wackas. We appreciate those guys.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, we got another one right now. I think
we?
we started with 233.
we'll refresh real
I
quick.
think.
How
It
about
was
that?
now
233, and we had 2 backers during the show that shared
There we
with
go.
us.
So you're
Yeah.
at 13,887 US
Nice.
dollars. That's not euros. I think you use in the Netherlands. It's 236 backers. So there you go.
that's amazing. Maybe we can reach 14,000.
Yeah,
That would
don't
be
forget those of us that are in the chat watching, and I know I've shared out a couple tweets recently, but definitely share out that Perfect 10 is ending and see if we can spread the word to get some more backers and tweet it out.
There we go. We appreciate all you guys in the chat. I might be back tonight. I don't know if nobody is doing anything for Dave, but I gotta imagine somebody's gonna do something for you, Dave. I would hope so. We appreciate you guys back and paying attention, joining in the chat. We will talk to you guys later.
Later.